Salams and welcome. Thank you for joining me in another episode of the Quran in English Basics for Beginners. And we are busy now with the tafsir of Surah Yasin from Ma'arif al-Quran, volume number 7, page number 364. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The word fathers, Abba, in verse number 6, which says, لِتُنذِرَ قَوْمًا مَّا أُنذِرَ آبَاؤُهُمْ فَهُمْ غَافِلُونَ. So the word Abba, fathers, in this verse, so that you may warn a people whose fathers were not warned, refers to the Arabs. The sense is that no warner, that means a prophet, has come to their immediate ancestors since a long time, right? Because we know many thousands of years ago, we had Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam. But then after that, there's a long chain or a gap of no communication, right? So since the coming of their patriarch, Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, and with him Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salam, no prophet had appeared among the Arabs for many centuries. Even though the work of calling people to the true faith with warnings and glad tidings kept going on, as mentioned in the verse of the Quran, and there was no community without a warner having passed among them, as we see in chapter Surah Fatir, chapter 35, verse number 24. It also confirms the same truth. As I mentioned before as well, the tafsir by Ma'arif al-Quran and Maulana Maududi and others go into a lot of detail sometimes to clarify things of different scholarly opinions and academic discussions, which for most of us is not required. So sometimes you will see me skipping some parts, so don't be concerned why I am skipping it, because I'm referring basically just to the basics, right? But let's read through this. So that also confirms the same truth, that divine mercy has never kept any nation or community deprived of the essential call and warning at any time and in any region, because Allah sent 124,000 messengers and prophets, right? But it is obvious that the teachings of prophets, when communicated by their deputies, do not bring the same effect as it is witnessed eye to eye directly when the prophets do that in person. Therefore, in the current verse, it was said about the Arabs that no warner came to them, right? They did not have any personal contact. As a consequence or as a fallout of the situation, there was no regular system of education in Arabia where people could learn and teach, which is why they came to be called the Ummiyun, the unlettered people. There was no textbooks, there were no libraries there, no access to pen and paper, although they were very good insofar as poetry is concerned. But there's no system of education. Remember, these were Bedouin people. And the main cities were like in Ta'if and in Mecca itself, but the majority of the people living in the harshness of the desert, where survival was basically at the top of everyone's list, right? So verses 7 and 8. لَقَدْ حَقَّ الْقَوْلُ عَلَىٰ أَكْثَرِهِمْ فَهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. The word has indeed come true, but most of them. Let's start again. The word has indeed come true about most of them, so they will not believe. Surely we have placed iron collars on their necks, so they are reaching up to their chins, and their heads are forced to remain upraised. This means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has already placed before human beings two alternate ways of life. Firstly, it is the way of disbelief or kufr or unbelief or rejection of faith or atheism. And the second one is the way of iman or faith, or the way of the believers and the mu'minun. And this is the way of Jannah, paradise, as opposed to the way of kufr or disbelief, which is Jahannam, right? So there's two alternatives. Either you believe or you disbelieve. You go to paradise or you go to hell. And on the day of judgment, all of mankind is then broken up into two groups only. There aren't more than two groups. You either believe or you disbelieve, right? And to give direction and substance to the scroll of faith. He also sent prophets and books. In fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala went further ahead by giving human beings the choice to first identify what is good or bad for one and then take to either of the two ways. There's no compulsion. You have a free will. But based on the decision you make, you will then be answerable for the choices you make. That is why there's a day of judgment. It is called an accountability, as to must explain why you did certain choices. Now, if there is that unfortunate person, man or woman, black or white, irrespective of race or religion or ethnicity or nationality or wealth, who does neither think nor ponders over proofs spread throughout nature, nor listens to the call of the prophets, nor deliberates in the book of Allah, then once this person has made a choice, it doesn't matter who that person is. It can be a president or a prime minister or a celebrity or a goal scorer, your UEFA winner, it doesn't matter who that person is. It can be an honorable member of parliament or a senator or a congressman or a mayor, it doesn't matter. But once that person has made a choice and has taken to a way thus chosen, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala assembles for that person, male or female, everything that he or she needs to achieve that end. Now this is very important. Listen to the next line. Very important. This is actually very dangerous. The one who embraces the way of disbelief, for that person the supply of things and circumstances that would increase his disbelief never run short. Now you see how worrying that is. If you choose the way of shaitan and disbelief and making crime and evil, then it becomes easier for you to do that. You will go deeper and deeper and deeper into sin. But if you choose the way of goodness, then that path becomes smooth for you. You then become easier and easier for you to do goodness. Right? So whatever you choose, that road becomes easy for you. If you choose the way of hell, hell is going to become easy for you. If you choose the way of paradise, the paradise becomes easy for you. But not literally easy, because we know that paradise is an uphill road and heaven, or at least Jannah, is a downhill road, right? Against most of these people, because of their choice of evil, the decisive verdict of Allah that they are not going to believe already stands pronounced. Given next is the similitude of their condition, by saying that they look like people whose necks have been shackled in a manner that causes their faces and eyes to stay upraised, rendering them totally unable to see their way on the ground. If so, it is obvious that one cannot remain safe against the likelihood of falling down into some ditch or abyss or cavern, right? Then comes another similitude, but let's stop at this point in time, because I just want to do it in short passages at a time, because it's quite detailed and then we don't want to get lost in all of this, right? So we'll continue in the next episode with the next similitude. Stay well, look after yourself. Alhamdulillah.